Do Nike and Adidas wear a size 22 shoe? Because they sure have a large footprint. Let's put ourselves in their shoes and examine Adidas versus Nike's plans for improved sustainability and reduction of their ecological footprint. But first, let's start with some definitions. Resource consumption is the use of resources, including non-renewable resources, the natural resources we use at a rate that exceeds replacement, and renewable resources, the natural resources that we use at a rate that allows for replacement. Ecological footprint is the area of land and water required to provide all the resources needed by a population at a standard of living and assimilate all waste. Biocapacity is the biological capacity of an area to generate resources and absorb the waste of a given population. Demand is the amount of bioproductive land we need to provide resources and space for infrastructure to absorb the waste that we produce. And lastly, leadership in energy and environmental design, or LEED, is a rating system to evaluate the environmental performance of a building.
For our connections to the HL extension, we'll be discussing global interactions and global powers in Topic 4. Globalization is defined as the spread of products, technology, information, and jobs across national borders and cultures. Localization is a product or service that is developed and distributed globally, but is also adjusted to accommodate the user or consumer in a local market. To begin, we'll be discussing the globalization of Nike. Nike was created in 1964 in the United States of America. Over the past 2 decades, Nike has been synonymous with globalization as a pioneer of outsourcing products worldwide. In 2017, Nike's contracted factories employed 1.2 million workers in 42 countries to produce all its products, with 29% of products made in China and 44% in Vietnam. Nike faces an average 11% tariff on shoe imports to the United States, with a threat of an increase to 45% of goods coming from China. In 2016, 48% of their revenue was generated in North America. Next, the globalization of Adidas. Adidas was created in 1924 in Germany. It was a global organization implementing global brand, local touch to secure a top spot in the global market. Adidas first applied strategies that anticipate and fulfill consumer desires to build powerful brands so that a lot of people know Adidas globally. For example, in Europe, Adidas extended its leading position by concentrating on key categories such as football and running. In North America, its goal was to significantly increase both market share and profitability within the next 3 to 5 years. In Asia, Adidas strived to generate sales of over $2 billion by 2008. Currently, Adidas now works with over 500 independent factories from around the world and sells products in 55 countries. Now we will discuss the globalization in Nike. Globalization, as mentioned, combines both globalization and localization to describe a product or brand that is adapted to the local consumer's wants. An example of this in Nike is the Vancouver-themed Nike Air Max 90 sneakers that were a limited edition in 2017. Collaborating with Nordstrom, the sneakers sold out at Nordstrom's Pacific Center location in less than 2 hours. More examples of this include Nike's fabrication of numerous merchandise for Canadian sports teams such as the Vancouver Grizzlies and limited edition heritage jerseys. And lastly, to cover the globalization in Adidas, examples of globalization in Adidas are also evident in Vancouver. For example, Adidas recently developed a limited edition Lunar New Year themed Vancouver Canucks jersey that increased their revenue as well. Again, much like Nike, Adidas also collaborated with numerous Vancouver sports teams and created numerous merchandise.
Nike has settled plants in Asian countries such as China and parts of Southeast Asia. These plants are their foreign investment, and in exchange, Nike has the ability to produce apparel using the resources of these countries. Nike's carbon footprint is 7.33 metric tons of carbon dioxide equivalent. Nike has attempted to design all new corporate buildings and retail locations to adhere to the Leadership in Energy and Environmental Design (LEED) standards, and have worked with their partners to attempt to optimize transportation methods and related carbon output. They have also placed an emphasis on the decoupling of greenhouse gas emissions from profit growth, but there has since been no evidence that this goal is on track. Now it's a waiting game to see if Nike can just do it and score some positive results. Adidas apparel is manufactured in China, Vietnam, Cambodia, and Indonesia. Adidas has a carbon footprint of 13.6 metric tons of carbon dioxide equivalent, higher than Nike's. In 2020, Adidas released a statement saying, "We have developed an approach to address our carbon footprint, water efficiency, and quality, and are committed to steadily increasing the use of more sustainable materials in our production, products, and stores while driving towards circular business solutions." Customers are able to purchase a pair of Ultra Boost trainers, which are made entirely from recycled material like plastic bottles recovered from the ocean. Adidas' tagline is "Adidas is all in." Adidas should remember those words and go all in to reduce their carbon footprint even more. Both Nike and Adidas have had a monopoly on athletic wear for many generations. Both companies endorse sports stars and teams, as well as collaborating with major brands such as Nike Apple collab and the Adidas Yeezy collab. Nike is the world's leading brand in athletic footwear and apparel, but Adidas keeps the title of the largest sportswear manufacturer in Europe. While both brands have established ecological footprint reduction strategies, Adidas has met most of their goals while Nike has not. For most, it depends on preference. And on that note, here are some sustainable alternatives.
Casca Designs, Vessi, and Native are all Vancouver-based footwear companies doing their part to reduce their ecological footprint. Casca Designs recently released sneakers crafted from 100% recycled polyester yarn. Each pair is equivalent to 7 recycled plastic bottles. The company's goal is to make all of its knit shoes from recycled and renewable materials by this year. The sole and outsole of the design is molded rather than die-cut, which yields 13% less material waste during production than the industry standard. Vessi shoes are entirely vegan, which reduce the energy and water needed to produce them. In fact, Vessi reduced their water usage by 30%, energy consumption by 600%, and material trim waste by 97% than competitors like Nike and Adidas. Their packaging is also 100% recyclable and made with zero use of plastic. Native's goal by 2023 is for every pair of Native shoes to be 100% life cycle managed. The Remix project is their first initiative on this journey, which recycles well-loved Native shoes by giving them new life in projects like playgrounds across the community. In 2019, they also introduced the world's first fully compostable sneaker made from plant-based natural materials.
Nike and Adidas should continue to work towards lowering their ecological footprints. Only time will tell if they succeed, which will hopefully be sooner than later. Through Nike and Adidas' trendy and appealing designs, they continue their monopoly in athletic wear. And we can only hope that this encourages the companies to do their part in preserving, prospering, and protecting our environment.